Howdy, y'all, and welcome to another... This ain't right. Hold on. Alright, that's better, y'all. But then again, if... Alright, this is better. This is where it's at. This is what's going on. Today, on Let's Watch, we are going to see The Flash. The new, the end, the amazing Ben Affleck, Ezra Miller, Michael Keaton, new Supergirl. Let's go, y'all. I'll answer those questions after we're done. Spoiler alert. Today on Let's Watch, we see The Flash. We can't actually do like we normally do where I show you clips and little things here and there, but, you know, I had to go sit and watch it. I tried to do as I could, and I'll add those little clips in right about... I know this isn't the most exciting. You don't get to really see much or anything like that. It's kind of dark and all that jazz, but we're in the movie theater. I'm here with my father-in-law, Big D. Mama G's dad, and my mother-in-law, Mama G. You hear little clips and sounds in the background, but I can't tell you what's going on. I can tell you what's going on, but I can't show you anything. I wish I could, but really freaking cow. It's like, whoa, so amazing all the way through. I wish I could show you clips like I normally do. I picked 5 random questions that were dropped on social media that I want to know the answer to, that I figure you as well want to know the answer to. They're not huge, crazy questions that delve deep into the plot and the story, but these are some important questions going into it. One of the first true questions I want to know: does the Flash travel to Bruce Wayne from Batman vs. Superman in this one? Answer. So, answer to question 1. Do we see him travel back in time and tell Bruce that Lois is the key? No. Doesn't even reference that or anything like that, or it even possible. And this, he does travel through time quite a bit. Quite a bit. So, you should have had him going back and been like, hey dude, gotta finish the circle. Question 2. Why and how Batman 89, and how did that universe be the one that connects to the rest of these? And why Batman 89, Michael Keaton's Batman? It's an interesting little story. It explains a little bit in the movie, but it's all about spaghetti. And they kind of poke fun at Marvel's thing. Marvel says timeline goes straight, and then it branches off. Okay? Not in DC. Things are different. It's kind of like the real world. When you change one thing in the past, it sends a ripple in both directions. Okay? The crazy thing is, in Back to the Future, Michael J. Fox is not Marty McFly. So it sent a ripple backwards, which changed a lot of things, which also changed when Bruce Wayne was born somehow. That's why he's an old man. That's why Michael Keaton's old. Certain things are constant, though. Like, Bruce Wayne's parents have to die. So there has to be a Batman. That has to exist. But because of the change and the ripples he sent in both directions and stuff, he sent a ripple forward to... That's how Supergirl came. But Michael Keaton's is because in Michael Keaton's Batman 1989, there were no metahumans. Things weren't like that. So in this world, there are no metahumans, which we find out they returned Boba Fett as Aquaman's dad. But he's... It's a funny joke. They're like, is your wife the Queen of Atlantis? He looks over at her. And that is not the Queen of Atlantis. That is... I don't know how to describe it without being rude, but it's some, like, grandma. You would see that watching her shows, eating her bonbons in her nightie. Yeah, it's a whole different world. But because of what he did in the ripple in the past, it brought Michael Keaton's universe as the universe that had to exist. But Michael Keaton's universe didn't go forward enough to Zod. And Zod is when the Flash and all that happens. So, one cool thing, though, I gotta say about the Batman 89 references and all that is Michael Keaton repeats a lot of his old lines, like, let's get nuts. I am Batman. All those things. And you get a lot of old nods, so that is the universe. But just like a spaghetti noodle, sometimes when you send a ripple through stuff, it becomes a hot mess. So how and why, it's all because of the Flash. She sent ripples through time, forward and backwards. Alright, so my next question is, since we watched Peacemaker, and at the end of that, Ezra Miller's Flash showed up, and he was also in the Grant, whatever the heck his name is, Flash TV show. Plus Suicide Squad takes place in the same kind of universe, same universe and such. Is he going to reference any of that, any of the other iterations of characters he's come across thus far? And third question, anything about Peacemaker and the Suicide Squad? didn't really reference anything like that. I think at the end, it kind of played off of, like the very end credit scene, it played off of the end of Peacemaker where Flash and Aquaman were friends and stuff. Because Aquaman is drunk at a bar and Flash is trying to take him home and he falls in a puddle and he's like, I'm okay, I'll just leave me here, stuff like that, you know. But it didn't really reference those movies at all, like Peacemaker or Suicide Squad or anything like that. The last places that the Flash has appeared or the Flash's bad guy got Boomerang, which makes me quite upset because Flash and Captain Boomerang should have had a fight, or at least we should have got some other Flash characters like Cold or, you know, Mirror Master or, I don't know, Reverse Flash. But then again, I thought we were getting Reverse Flash, the big scary thing, the villain in the Speed Force. I thought that was going to be, you know, the Reverse Flash, but no, it wasn't. We found out a whole different thing, that the big bad guy of the whole entire movie is the young Barry, the 18-year-old Barry, the one from the past. And it's because he just wanted to save his mom. He wanted to save Supergirl. He wanted to save Batman, but he couldn't. Because like I said, there's fixed points in time. So those fixed points have to happen, which is terribly sad because that means Michael Keaton's Batman has to die in the fight against Zod. And Supergirl, she's destined to die, which means that whole world is destined to die. All because Flash's mom lived. So Earth is destroyed because of Flash's choice over one can of tomatoes. Is this one gonna reference the Justice League from Joss Whedon? I'm pretty sure that's what DC's pushing as its Justice League, but Zack Snyder's Justice League is my Justice League, y'all. And I'm pretty sure it's yours too. So which one is he gonna reference? Which one does this kind of come after? The next big question I had going in made me so excited to be able to see and understand is what Justice League does this connect to? Does this come after? And throughout it, I was trying to pay little bits of attention, you know, trying to figure out what was going on with the prior movies, because we only see Henry Cavill's Superman silhouette stopping a volcano from destroying little places, which is a reference to the old, like, 1930s, 40s cartoon of Superman in the volcano. But when we got Wonder Woman at the beginning of the movie, she didn't mention much of anything or anything at all. She just saved him with the lasso, which was amazing. The lasso jokes. Batman's like, I can't thank you right now because I'm too proud or whatever. And then Flash is like, I'm still a virgin. It was way better than that, but that's pretty much what it came out to be, so you already know there's spoilers coming, so I'm hoping you already watched this and you're going to laugh when you remember those moments. But at some point, he references that he did go back in time. In Joss Whedon's, he didn't go back in time. It was Zack Snyder's, where he broke time. Just for a split second, he went back in time. So there's that. Plus, also in Joss Whedon's, there is no Iris West. They completely removed her, but when Iris and him meet again at the courthouse and he thinks he's trying to get a good story, Iris says, I feel like I've seen you recently or something like that, and that's a reference to in Zack Snyder's when he melts his shoes and saves her when the window's busting and everything's going crazy, and he saves her and then he zips off real quick. So she only sees him for a split second and she remembers it. So therefore, this movie comes straight after Zack Snyder's, which, yay, thank you, James Gunn, for giving us that, or whoever is at DC, Zack Snyder's is canon. It's important. Very important, which means Darkseid and all that could happen. The Joker still exists, Jared Leto's Joker and everything in this universe. Well, actually, that ending, we'll talk about that in a second. And the last question I'm going to answer right in a second after we're done talking about this and that. Is this the DC soft reboot? Or is it a hard reboot? Or is it a reboot of any sort? Is this where James Gunn is going to flip the switch and use it as like the Flashpoint, flipping into the New 52 style? Let's see. And then the next question, is it the DC reboot? I can't say, because everything happened, but then it all changed back. Ben Affleck's Batman was the first Batman, and then after he went back and changed everything, it became Michael Keaton's Batman. Okay? When the universes were colliding and everything was going crazy and all that in the climax, Adam West Batman was brought into it, just for like a split second, but it's because he had his own self-contained little universe bubble. Okay? And then, how it ends. If this is a reboot thing, I'm not terribly sure I'm liking where it's going to go, because George Clooney was the Batman with all Ben Affleck's memories, all that stuff in his head. It was George Clooney's Batman that replaced Ben Affleck's Batman at the end of the movie. There was no Val Kilmer in this at all, so they completely ignored Val Kilmer's Batman and all that. But George Clooney isn't going to be our new Batman. I can't believe that. I can't believe James Gunn is going to bring him as the mainline Batman. So I'm thinking something has to come next. I'm not sure it's going to happen to Blue Beetle. I'm pretty darn sure it's not. And I'm hoping Aquaman is a sequel to this, because the universe has changed mildly, so we're going to see major differences in Aquaman. But Then again, I feel like Aquaman's just going to be a straight sequel to the other Aquaman. And that this is where it ends. This is how it just stops. And on that note, how is Jason Momoa's Aquaman or Lobo or whoever he's going to continue on being the same character? And Shazam, how is he going to continue on? Zachary Levi, because I'm pretty sure, I want to think he said he's going to maintain Flash. Gal Gadot's gone, Ben Affleck is gone, Henry Cavill's gone, The Rock is gone, all of Suicide Squad is gone. So, I don't know. I'm pretty sure Margot Robbie's coming back as Harley Quinn, but they're getting a new Superman. We're going to get a new everything. The one constant, though, should be, in order to make all these universes truly interconnected and make this work, should be Ezra Miller's Flash. But Ezra Miller does what Ezra Miller does, and I'm hoping he realized he just made one of the greatest comic book movies ever. I made so many nerds and everybody across the world happy so that he behaves. But I don't know. He needs to come back as the Flash, at least. So this could be a soft reboot, and maybe the new Batman isn't George Clooney, but Terry McGinnis, Batman Beyond. Maybe he's training the next generation, or maybe he is going to be Batman, and this new Bat Family stuff is going to focus on like Nightwing and Damian and stuff like that. I could be okay with that, but if you bring just straight up George Clooney back as Batman, I'm not going to be happy with that, because I don't want another movie centered around George Clooney as Batman. This doesn't sound that great. And then you have to give us a new Dick. Like, yeah, sure, for the 90s or 2000s and the old Batman stuff, the 90s, that Dick Grayson was okay because it was more about adults. But now kid actors are in here. Look at Tom Holland's Spider-Man. He's young. So we can do something like this. You can give us a new young Nightwing and we can watch him evolve. You can give us a boy as Damian Wayne and watch him evolve as Robin. Start off as the hateful little thing. So that story could work. With the rest of them, Wonder Woman, there's supposedly an Amazonian show coming. So I don't know if that's going to set up like a new Wonder Woman or how things are different with her. Aquaman's coming still. So I don't know. We'll talk about that when it gets here. What are they here? Cyborg. I'm pretty sure they got rid of Cyborg because of everything that happened between the studio and the actor. But if they do get rid of Cyborg, give us John Jones. Give us a Martian Manhunter. Sorry, my brain went to Green Lantern. I was thinking a Green Lantern, Martian Manhunter, Batman team-up movie would be pretty awesome. Like 3 detectives, a space detective for the cosmos, detective who could read minds, and Earth's greatest human detective. That would be a freaking awesome movie together. But I'm not sure this is the reboot. I'm pretty sure they're just going to slap something on at the beginning of a movie or a TV series or something coming forward. So, we'll see. And if this is the reboot, why George Clooney? Could have picked anybody. Could have slapped like Robert Pattinson in there so you could continue on with Robert Pattinson and have Ezra Miller Robert Pattinson, because I would like to see them argue. That'd be pretty funny. Give Robert Pattinson all the knowledge of Ben Affleck's Batman in his body. That would have been kind of neat, but I don't know. And now for the first reaction as I walk out of the theater and dissecting the movie as we're standing underneath the streetlight.
That was awesome. Awesome movie.
Walking out, first reaction. Definitely worth it. An amazing film. Do you agree?
Yes, I do. It was a good movie.
Well,
Had all the Batmans, Supermans.
oh yeah. Got Nicolas Cage fighting a giant spider.
Yep.
Adam West. Not sure what he said though. I didn't catch his words.
I didn't either. The twist is Nicolas Cage being a part of it, the Superman series.
Yeah. It's weird.
Yeah, that one was weird. But it was good.
Oh yeah. Definitely well worth it.
Yes.
I'll answer those questions later. I highly recommend it. And the spoilers will come. It's obvious. So that was just a quick reaction, and I couldn't get too excited because there was cops around and stuff, and it was the middle of the night, people were everywhere. But that was the greatest freaking superhero movie I've ever seen. I came out of there just ecstatic and losing it, and just wah! I'm gonna have random tidbits here and there, just tossed about. Just find that lady. Okay. Holy cow, that movie was freaking amazing. There was no fawns, or nothing like that. But the Flash traveling back to save his mom, and then all the crazy stuff that happened and ensued. The 2 flashes, 3 flashes, Find out at the very end, the young 18-year-old Flash has been doing this forever, trying to be a hero, but he just can't seem to get to that point. That was just amazing. Michael Keaton's Batman, he was dominating and kicking butt the entire time, and it just looked beautiful and everything. Getting to see the Batwing in his full glory, getting to see Michael Keaton in his full glory was phenomenal. Makes me really sad Ben Affleck was only in the beginning part, but he was still kicking butt too. He's still my favorite Batman. And just the pacing of the movie was incredible. Like, they put heart into it. They tried so hard. Recommend it? Most definitely. Oh, most definitely. One scene that could have kind of been left out that wasn't too amazing, but it had a point to prove that was important later, was the babies. I thought that was mildly dumb. Like, I understand saving a room full of babies, but he should have shot through the sky and grabbed them all and was okay. But it had to prove a point that if you move somebody too fast through time and space, the fluids inside their body try and stay still. So, proving it with the baby in the beginning of the movie and using that later, it was good writing, great storytelling. But right off the bat, the whole baby scene was meh. Then him breaking the Speed Force and getting into the chronosphere was awesome, because it also sets up the time treadmill. Him and Batman could have built the time treadmill based off of where the story was going. And that would have been awesome to see him running on the treadmill, traveling through time and all that stuff, and going through the different dimensions. And see him going through the different dimensions. And when he broke the multiverse and everything started colliding, getting to see George Reeves, black and white, Superman, with his Flash, the old army helmet guy, right off the second, I can't think of it, but the old school Flash, like from World War II's and stuff, doing the exact same thing our Flash is doing, was amazing to see. And then it jumps to Christopher Reeves, Superman, with the 1970s Supergirl. Sadly, they missed an amazing fan service. They could have brought in the old Wonder Woman, but they didn't. She could have been standing there with Superman and Supergirl. Then it goes to Nicolas Cage, like Kevin Smith said, fighting a giant spider, but he was flying. All the fan services, all the things it gave you were just so amazing. Adam West's Batman had his own little universe. And he said something, I didn't quite catch what he said, but Adam West, they used the voice from him. In that ending, the whole point of the movie, from what you think, is him trying to go back and save his mom. That is not what this movie's about. It's him trying to prove his dad's innocent. He had to go through all of that just so that he could change some video footage for present day proof that his father is innocent, because it took this long for Batman, Bruce Wayne, Wayne Tech, to be able to decrypt the video of his father getting the tomatoes. He went back in time, very end, and just moved some stuff on the shelf so that his father had evidential proof that he was innocent. So it all worked out there, but then he's getting a phone call from Bruce, and Bruce is on his way to congratulate him and talk to him about everything that just happened. First, you don't really pay attention because it kind of sounds like Ben Affleck's Bruce. We're thinking, heck yeah, because a lot of crowd craziness is going on, stuff's happening, people are screaming. But bam! The Batman of this new universe is George Clooney. Of all the things they could have chose, George Clooney. They could have revamped it with the new Batman for the new stuff coming and made it a real reboot, but they didn't. George Clooney is now Batman in the DC universe. That's just come crazy, yo. One other cool thing that was like an Easter egg that was thrown in there is Jack Nicholson's Joker's laughing bag. The young Flash finds it in the Batcave, and it's just an Easter egg fan service to show you that this is part of the world. And it's just really awesome to see. It'd be cool if we could see all the trophies, like maybe Catwoman's whip, I don't know, the Penguin's ducky, just other things throughout, Michael Keaton's tenure as Batman. Or even if they wanted to say that all of them still happened, just like a whole room of everything from the movies, all the movies, not just Michael Keaton's. Like we could see the Joker card from Dark Knight, just sitting there, or Mr. Freeze's gun with Arnold Schwarzenegger, Bane's mask, from that one, for just all the amazing things. You could even throw like the gun formed into a batarang that's on Robert Pattinson's chest. It's the gun that killed his mom and dad. Bruce got melted it down or broke it apart and formed his batarang that's on his chest. That's the story. That's how that goes. So just random tidbits from all the movies that these things still happen, that these pivotal points in time still went on. It would have just been awesome because, yeah, I've always wanted to see the Batcave like from Batman, the animated series, in real life. That would have been so awesome. Giant Penny, giant T-Rex, the Batmobiles and stuff coming out of nowhere. We saw, though, the Batwing coming from the sky, and that was awesome. And when Batman jumped out and fell, there's the moon with the the Batplane in it while he's falling. So they did do a lot of old fan services from back in the day, brought forward. They didn't bring the Bat card, Batman credit card. We didn't see that. That would have been funny. But yeah, definitely recommend this movie. Oh, I recommend this movie. I keep saying it's one of the greatest superhero films I have ever seen. Got the privilege to be alive for, because now everything can be connected. I guess ancient times, that's what the youngins are calling it. Back in the 80s, 70s, 60s, it wasn't easy to connect everything because everybody else owned everything. But now everything is under one mantle, one property, one group. That's how the world is nowadays. So it's a lot easier for stories to be told that we love so much in the mainstream. Now let's talk about that finale. The fight with Zod over and over again. You get to see Michael Keaton die, and then you watched him die, and then you watched him die, and then you watched Supergirl die, and it's like, holy crap. Sure, throughout the Speed Force and everything, the CGI was a little and so when you watch Michael Keaton in the Speed Force die over and over again, the CGI wasn't bad. It was not like spot on looking real life, but it was still worth it. That CGI worked amazing, like all the CGI except for the babies. No babies. Didn't like that scene. That was nah. But the CGI in the Speed Force and everything else, how it kind of looked a little cartoony, campy, was completely acceptable. But that fight with Zod, watching Zod get the crap beat out of him, watching Michael Keaton's Batman beat up the Giant over and over again, watching all the crazy, amazing fan services, the things we want to see in a DC movie, was amazing. But watching them die over and over again, it's not that I didn't like the Supergirl. She was awesome. I just didn't have any attachment to the Supergirl. So when she died, it was nothing to me. Like, it wasn't nothing because throughout the movie, you felt like she actually had some humanity. She was building up to be a Superman. But it's not history like Michael Keaton's Batman dying over and over again. And then watching this Flash constantly turn into a doomsday-like creature because of the Kryptonian technology that keeps getting slapped into his body and stuff. And then you find out he's the true villain, the one who wants to save his mom and is constantly destroying the universe over and over again, who is ripping apart the fabrics of time. Yeah, that ending was spectacular. The multiverses all floating above their heads, getting to see this. I really thought it was going to be like the huge collision from Crisis on Infinite Earths, when all the universes smashed together to form one. But no, somehow this Flash, the young 18-year-old Flash, sacrificed himself, which destroyed the old Flash with all the Kryptonian armor and looked all mutated, who's been going crazy. It destroyed those two and caused the whole universe to revert back to what it was. But because of what Barry did in the past, the tiniest little thing, he moved the tomato cans from the bottom shelf to the top shelf, so that when his dad had to go look at it, or he went to go look for the tomatoes, he was looking originally at the bottom, and that's why they didn't see his face. That's why they couldn't prove it when Bruce finally decrypted the video and got it perfect in present day. So what he did is he took the tomatoes and put them on the top shelf so that his dad had to look up and grab a can, which is the tiniest little change, and it's not really going to affect much at all in history, except for apparently George Clooney, and we'll see what goes from there. But that's all it really affected, because everything went back to exactly where it was, because his father still had to go to jail for the crime, because it wasn't until modern day that Bruce was able to decrypt the video, and the video of him reaching his hand up and looking and putting his face on camera, which proved his innocent, that he didn't kill it. Which still makes me think, who killed his mom? Was it Reverse Flash? Was it Fong? They left a cliffhanger there at the very end of the movie. His mom still has to die, which is terrible and sucks. But yeah, that's how the universe has to go. Just like what happened with Batman in the original thing. When he went back, Bruce Wayne was the one who got shot. So therefore, Thomas became Batman, who was vengeful, hateful with guns, and Martha became the Joker, because Batman wasn't there to drop the Red Hood into a vat of chemicals. So everything changed in that history. So that movie was just amazing. It was one of the greatest superhero films I've ever seen. Like, it didn't just rip my heart out and stomp on it like Infinity War did, and then it gave me that whole way through. Like when everybody comes out of the portal and it says on Cap on your left, that was just amazing. That's how I felt throughout the entire film. And The Flash is just one of the greatest superhero movies I have ever seen, from beginning to end. I highly recommend it, y'all. Go check it out. I appreciate y'all sticking through this with me. As I'm editing this, I remember one thing that really ticked me off and made me upset. In order to erase Henry Cavill's Superman from the story and everything else, what they did is had General Zod capture him as an infant in space and dissect him. The child did not survive. They killed Henry Cavill's Superman as a baby. Bullcrap, y'all. Bullcrap. That's it. That's all I got for y'all. Thank y'all for watching, staying true. I haven't really done a Let's Watch lately. A lot of crazy stuff in life's happening, but I told y'all I was going to watch The Flash. I haven't seen The Guardians yet. I'll get there when I get there. I highly recommend The Flash. Give it 10 out of 10 stars. It was just amazing. Phenomenal. One of the greatest superhero films I have ever seen. Like, up there with Endgame. Like, Endgame had its faults. Like, major faults. But Endgame was just phenomenal all around. My major fault is I don't want an old Thanos from the past brought back to fight the modern-day Avengers. I want a Thanos who has a vendetta against the Avengers, not someone who doesn't know who the heck they are. We'll get there when we watch Avengers. Thank y'all. Like and subscribe. And just because in the comments, if you made it this far, let me know. Batman, Superman, who's your favorite superhero? Which one would you have loved to have seen more? And why didn't they drop Ryan Reynolds' Green Lantern in one of those universes? That would have been funny. Like Nicolas Cage and Ryan Reynolds versus the giant spider. That would have just been great. Thank y'all. Like, subscribe. You know the drill. Get notified.